Hi everybody, welcome back to a new reading vlog. So if you haven't watched the first part of this reading vlog, I recommend you doing so. I will link it down below so you can watch them in order. But this is supposed to be I tried to read 30 books in 30 days part 2 out of 3, and yeah, I thought I would tell you guys how it's going. So first part went pretty darn well, I'd say. Not perfect because I'm behind, but it's going. And currently I'm reading the first book of this vlog, which is Ghost Squad by Claribel A. Ortega. And I've gotten quite far, but it feels like I'm on page 172, so I've gotten pretty far. My goal is definitely to finish this today. She's about 9 p.m, so I should be able to. But I feel like this is only 237 pages, and I started yesterday. And I just feel like it's going so slowly. And I mean, this is a middle grade book. We meet Lucille, who can see ghosts, and we have her best friend Sid, whose grandma is, or maybe, a witch, and they're best friends, and they're trying to figure out why Lucille's ghost sort of relatives are starting to get sick, and weird shit is happening to them. So they try to perform this spell that they find, and shit goes awry. And they manage to set free a lot of malicious spirits, and they're trying to reverse the spell. I mean, I like Sid and Leslie's friendship. I love the fact that the cat Chunk is a big part of it. I like Sydney's grandmother Babette, who is the supposed witch, or they think so at least. That's kind of what she's known for in the city. And I like the spirit's ghost essence of the story. Leslie's dad actually has this sort of ghost tour, if you will, and they're getting closer to Halloween. So it's a little bit spooky, but I don't know, it's just something that makes it a very slow read. Even though it's middle grade, even though I do like all of these aspects, there's still just something, like, I can't really put my finger on it. Sometimes you just know that there's something missing, but you don't really know what it is, and I feel like that's the case with this book. So I don't know, but my goal is to finish this one now and then try to read something else, preferably start something else tonight that is something quick, because like I said, I'm a little bit behind. So currently I have read, this is my 10th book, and we're on the 11th day, so a little bit behind, but I'll catch up. I will. So yeah, let's get reading. So it's currently July 3rd, and I just wanted to let you know that I finished Ghost Squad by Claribel A. Ortega late last night. I don't really know if I have that much to add from the previous clips. Like, it was an interesting ending. I felt like, I mean, Sid and Lucy is supposed to be 12 years old. Sometimes they definitely speak like they're a lot older. There was some kick-ass ghost busting thing going on. Sometimes it felt maybe a little bit too convenient. But there was definitely some more action in the end. And I feel like that bumped up the rating a little bit. So I ended up giving this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. But yeah, I definitely thought it would be a much quicker read than it was, since it's so short. Having finished this means that I've read 10 books in 12 days. I'm falling behind. So my current read is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. This is a book I've been interested in before it even came out, and now I do have it. I'm about 32% into it. This is basically about Cassie, and she used to be an OnlyFans creator, but she quit that for several reasons. and she's trying to make ends meet because she cannot afford to pay her rent because she just lost her job at the hospital, and she's trying to put herself through school as well. And that is making it really hard to find a job where they're willing to let her go on certain weekends to be able to actually go to school. And she ends up interviewing for this position as a live-in nanny. This guy called Aiden and his daughter Sophie. And at this point, she's moved in. She's started to get to know both Sophie and her dad Aiden, and there's a lot of chemistry between the two main characters, if you put it that way. I do like their sort of joking banter type of conversation. I like Cassie's relationship with Sophie. It's really cute. And we do get a shifting perspective between Cassie and Aiden, but mostly it's Cassie. So far, about, I don't know, 100 pages or so in, we've had Aiden's perspective like twice. So hopefully it'll be more of his perspective in a little bit. Yeah, so far it's a really, really quick read. I'm enjoying the characters, and I'm sure there's going to be certain drama very soon. Yeah, it's a really quick read and I'm really enjoying it, and I have high hopes for this one. So we'll see. But this is the 11th book that I'm reading, counting this is part 2 of the reading challenge. So this is book 11 in 12 days that I'm working on. So I need to finish this one and then finish something else today. So we'll see how that goes, because I have a shitload of stuff to do. And it never, ever, ever gets... the list never becomes shorter, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know, and now I'm gonna try to edit some videos, I think. About 2 minutes ago, I finished The Nanny by Lana Ferguson, which is a romance book. I've already told you guys what it's about, I think, but it was... I really enjoyed it, I did, but I feel like the book was a little bit too long. Maybe it could have been shortened down like 100 pages or so. It was a quick read, but like I said, just a little bit too long. I did enjoy Aiden and Cassie's sort of blossoming relationship, and the like sort of will they won't they kind of thing, and with, like, their chemistry was really good and everything. And I loved Aiden's daughter Sophie. She was really adorable as well. Definitely added some to the plot as well. Like Cassie's neighbor friend Wanda. It was really sassy and funny. 72-year-old. But I feel like the book was too long. There was like the smutty parts start about 150-ish pages through, at least in the ebook that I was reading. But after that, it's like smut every like 4 or 5 pages, and it's like constantly, and it feels like I want more plots at that point. Like it's too much smut, and it's just like every few pages, and you don't really have the time to experience anything else in between that. And then of course it's the sort of happening, the reason why a relationship's not working as well, because something happens, and then you get more, events taking place and whatnot. But yeah, just too much smut and a little bit too long. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and that means that I finished my 11th book in 13 days. So I'm definitely behind, and I was going to read a thick book that I want to read, but now I have to delay it because I feel like I have to catch up. So I'm just gonna try to read something short, something quick, and hopefully, manage to get where I need to be. I decided to pick up my 12th book, and that's going to be Not Your Idol Volume 1, which is a manga I got from my friend Jamie, I want to say Christmas. And this is story and art by Aoi Makino. So it looks really cute. I like the art style, pretty and stuff. But in this one, we meet Nina Kamiyama, and she's a former idol in the group Pure Clubs. And she shuns her femininity and starts dressing as a boy after she was assaulted. And at high school, she keeps to herself, but this fellow student Hikaru Horiuchi realizes who she is and what secrets is she keeping, and the shocking drama starts. So this is a really short manga novel, so I feel like I should be able to fly through this one pretty quickly. So yeah, hopefully I will enjoy it. Technically it's Wednesday now, but I didn't update you guys yesterday, so I ended up finishing Not Your Idol Volume 1 by Aoi Makino, and this was a really quick read. I mean, it's really short, it's not that much text on each page. The illustrations are really pretty. I did enjoy the characters. It was an interesting sort of plot. There was definitely some very relevant discussions going on, and yeah, it was well written and I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Yesterday I started reading The Stolen Prince from Cloudburst by Jacqueline Moriarty, and I kept thinking I should find a short book. I need to find a short book because I'm behind. So of course I chose a book that's like 450 pages because I'm dumb, I know. But I'm quite far along, honestly. I'm on page 280. This is the third book in the Kingdoms and Empire series, and I'm loving this one so far. We follow different characters in each and every book, but we get sort of like cameos, and Esther in this book is the cousin of Bronte Metalstone, which we follow in the first book, so they're sort of all related and stuff like that. But we follow Esther. She goes to this sort of boarding school for girls, and she goes there with her sister Imogen and her little sister Astrid, and shit happens. There's a lot of magical creatures running around. The Stolen Prince from Cloudburst has, you know, resurfaced, and you know, shit happens. Basically Esther sees it as her job to, you know, defend the school and everything like that. So far it's a ridiculously quick read. I'm flying through it. I tried to time it and I read like 80 pages in about an hour, so it's really quick read. I love the characters, I love the plot. Beautiful illustrations by Carl James Mountford, which is one of my favorite illustrators at this point. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see where the story is going, and yeah, I'm loving it, just like the first 2 books in the series.
We have some fuzzy company over there.
She's like 8:20 a.m. It's Thursday. I just finished my 13th book for this part 2 vlog. I'm still like a little bit behind because I have to finish 2 more books today. So I'm gonna try to do that, but I only have 1 book decided what to read, so we'll see what I end up choosing. I finished The Stolen Prince of Cloudburst by Jacqueline Moriarty. So I went to bed when my fiance went to bed yesterday, so she's like maybe 11:45, and I had like 21 pages left. And I didn't have it on my e-reader, so I couldn't continue reading. So I finished it at about 8:15 this morning, so really quick. But yeah, this was a hunker. This is 454 pages, and I flew through this one so quickly. Like I said, in the previous clip, I believe. I really enjoy the characters and the sibling dynamics in this book. I definitely feel like there was a lot of character growth, not only with Esther but with her sisters, her mother, and there was some unforeseen twists and turns and beautiful illustrations, and I was just hooked from like the first sentence of this book. And I love Jacqueline Moriarty's books, and I know there's a 4th book out, so I definitely need to get my hands on that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I think the one thing that pulled down the overall experience and the rating of this book was the fact that I felt like it wrapped up a little bit too quickly. It wrapped up a little bit too easily, in my opinion. I would have wanted a little bit more angst and a little bit more angst and I guess just more action. So that was a little bit of a shame, but I really did enjoy this, so I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Good morning! I am on track again. I didn't update you guys that much yesterday. But I did end up finishing Not Your Idol Volume 2. It's a really quick, short manga. It's about Nina Kamiya in hiding after being attacked. This was a really quick read. There was definitely some interesting stuff happening, although I feel like you haven't gotten like too many answers or anything. There's some important subject matter going on. At the same time, I just feel like the characters, there's like pictures from Nina and her like Pure Club, the band that she was in, from their glory days, and they're supposed to be like 15 and they're overly sexualized so much, and they were 15, and that really rubs me the wrong way. But I don't know if that's just manga or just, I don't know. But yeah, I ended up finishing it. I gave it the same rating as the first one, which was 3.5 out of 5 stars. I also read In an Absent Dream by Shannon Maguire. I hated it. This is the 4th book in the Wayward Children series, and this was actually the book that I liked the least, and it's supposed to have very good ratings on Goodreads, but I did not enjoy it. So we meet this girl named Catherine, or Lundy as she goes by, and she ends up finding this door to this goblin market where everything has to be, you know, fair value, like you have to exchange one service for another, basically. First of all, Lundy, no personality. Second of all, her friend Moon, really freaking like a leech. You know, she takes like everything that she can mooch off of Lundy, she takes. But she doesn't really seem to be giving that much in return, honestly. And I don't know, I didn't like it. I was bored within like 5 pages because nothing was happening, and I kind of felt like I was forcing myself to read it, and the only reason I did was because it's a short book and I was behind on my challenge, okay? And I didn't like it. I don't like it. So I ended up finishing it 11:30 p.m. yesterday, so very late, but I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars, so not a new favorite, if you put it like that. Today's glorious reading will be this book. So this is the Frugal Wizard Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson, of course, and it's illustrated by Steve Argyle. And I've been wanting to read this book for so long. It took me forever to actually get it. And not because the shipping, because that was actually pretty quick. It just that they couldn't deliver it to my apartment, so I had to send it to my parents-in-law, so it got stuck there for a while. But it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. I'm so hyped because it's Sanderson. I don't really know what it's about. It just says on the back, we here at Frugal Wizard Inc. are committed to providing you with the highest quality experience possible, available to any true wizard for a reasonable price. We provide the fun, you provide the body. And the money. Don't forget the money. Also, we mean your own body, though we don't ask too many questions. So, that's all I know. It sounds really interesting. I have seen on Goodreads, though, that people seem to definitely prefer Crest of the Emerald Sea above this one, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm really excited to read about reading this one because I know Secret Project number 3 is on its way to me. So, I need to get this one read. But I think it's gonna be a fabulous experience, so it's fine. But yeah. So I thought I would wrap up my feelings on this book. I liked it. Definitely not a new Sanderson favorite. I like the characters, I like the plot and the sort of magical aspect and everything like that. I just wish there would have been a little bit more action. I mean, there were some fights and like stuff going on, but I just wish it had been more. Like in the majority of his series, there's like more stuff happening. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact it's not part of the Cosmere universe, so it's not really connected to anything else of his. But yeah, I ended up giving this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. So. So as you saw in the previous clips, I was at the library once again, which I really should not go there because I always end up borrowing more books, even though I haven't even finished reading or even started reading the ones I'd already borrowed. So now I have 11 books from the library, and I returned one. I read 2 mangas while at the library, and then I borrowed 4 new ones. So in total I have 11 books at home that I really need to read. But yeah, I'm working my way through one of them. But yeah, while at the library, I picked up The Promised Neverland Volume 7. And I read Volume 5 and 6 in the first part of this challenge. Loved it. Manga is about a bunch of orphans who live at Gracefield Hall, which is the orphanage. And, you know, they do day-to-day kind of things. They study for tests, they do tests, they have chores and everything like that, and then they play, you know, just like normal kids basically, and they're waiting to get adopted. But then one day they find out that maybe it's a little bit more sinister than that. That's all I'm gonna say, cause spoilers. But this volume there was some like action, but there was mostly just, you know, getting to know more about the world they live in, and we get a little bit of backstory to small things, and then we get some answers, not a lot admittedly, because mostly you just are left with more questions and I want answers to them. So I really should have borrowed the 8th volume from the library, but I didn't, because I'm trying to restrain myself from only reading manga for this challenge, because I do want to challenge myself a little bit more by reading a little bit thicker books. But yeah, this was such a good volume. I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. When I was at the library, I also picked up the manga called Food Wars Volume 1. This is a completely new manga for me, obviously, since I'm reading Volume 1. I saw Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin read this manga like a few days ago, and it seemed like a lot of fun. So basically this is about food wars. The main character has been working at his father's restaurant. It's like a family restaurant. He wants to, you know, go back and work there when he graduates high school, but his father ends up closing down the restaurant to go, you know, work at different restaurants around the world. And our main character tries to get into this very prestigious cooking school to be able to, you know, get better at cooking and one day be able to beat his father when it comes to, you know, culinary success and all that. And I really enjoyed this volume. It was beautiful illustrations, a lot of fun characters, and I mean, I suck at cooking food but I do enjoy watching food competitions and different type of food related shows on TV. So I felt like this was a really fun volume to read. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a lot of, you know, fun. And I'm definitely going to continue on with this manga actually. I don't really know how many of the volumes they had at the library. I think like 3 maybe. So at least I can figure out if I want to continue on after that, I guess. But yeah, it was lots and lots of fun. And I think I'm going to give this volume 4.5 out of 5 stars as well. So a very successful reading day so far, I'd say. So far I have read 9 books for this reading vlog. I am definitely working on my next read. Haven't gotten very far though, so I still need to read another book for today, and then I also have tomorrow for this reading vlog before I start part 3, so that's really exciting. And the only reason it is that way, because I mean, if you counted, you probably got it to 11 and not 10, but that's because I read only 9 books in part 1, and I had to like move 1 book over for this one to, you know, be able to catch up. So in total, over these 2 reading vlogs so far, I have read 18 books, so that's pretty darn good. My reading challenge for Goodreads is definitely looking up, because now I'm on track and everything. I'm even a little bit ahead, I think. That's awesome. So I thought I would update you guys. I don't even know if I've talked about this book, but the very last book I finished for this reading vlog was There's Something About Sweetie by Zendaya Manon. This has been on my TBR for years, but this was on my self-destruct list, so I'm really happy that I finally picked it up and read it. So in this one we meet Sweetie and we meet Asish. And Asish's parents actually set him up with Sweetie because they want him to find a, you know, a nice Indian girl to date and in a few years possibly marry. Sweetie's parents are not really, they don't really want her to do it. So they kind of like date in secret. I really liked Asish and Sweetie's relationship. I mean, it's not exactly a slow burn, but it's not like an insta love either. It kind of builds at a acceptable pace, I'd say. I love the personalities. I like the fact that they're so different in a way, but at the same time they have some certain things, hobbies and stuff like that they are very similar in. I like Sweetie's friends group. She has 3 girlfriends who are really funny and very supportive, and you know, I really like them. And then Asish's friends are hilarious as well and really good. And we have some LGBTQ plus representation among his friends. This was such a quick read. This is like 370-ish pages. And this was such a quick read. And I just had to stay up until like 12:30 last night to finish it because I was really enjoying it. I think I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 stars because it was a really quick and enjoyable read. I thought it was time to wrap up this reading vlog. I ended up reading a shit ton of books for this vlog actually. I read 10 books. Technically one was started from the first part of this. But I ended up reading 10 books, which means technically I'm still 1 book behind, since you know, should already be by 20 in total at this part 2 vlog, but I'm only at 19. But I thought I would tell you guys what I read and what I thought about them, so a little bit of a summarization before closing out the vlog. So the first book I read was Ghost Squad by Clary Obel Ortega, and this is a middle grade book. It's about the paranormal, witchcraft, ghosts. I did enjoy the main character's friendship. I like the ghost aspect. I don't really read a lot of spooky middle grade books, so it's nice to read something different. Felt like some things was solved a little bit too easy for me. I did like the Firefly sort of ancestor plotline. That was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It was a little bit of a slow read for the most part. It picked up towards the end. And the next book I read was The Nanny by Lana Ferguson, which is a adult romance novel. It's definitely a different type of plotline, since the main character Cassie used to work as an OnlyFans creator back in the day. Now she's becoming the main character, Aiden, the other character's nanny for his daughter. And there was definitely a lot of chemistry in this book, and I like Aiden and Cassie's blossoming relationship. I like Cassie's relationship with Sophie, Aiden's daughter, and there was some interesting plot lines here and there. But when they finally do sort of, you know, get together, hook up or whatnot, they have the smut is every like 4 or 5 pages, and then the plot sort of stops for like a few chapters, because it's just smut, and it was just too much, and I feel like the book could have been shortened down a lot. So yeah, that took down my overall rating of this book. And then I read Not Your Idol Volume 1. This is a new manga series that I'm trying out. It was interesting that the girl sort of hides away in a high school after she was attacked, trying to figure out who did it, because that person is still on the loose. There was a few sort of important subject matters that were talked about, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a quick read. Now we have The Stolen Prince of Cloudburst by Jacqueline Moriarty. This is book 3 in Kingdoms and Empires series, I think it's called. I read this book so freaking quickly, and it's like 470 pages long, and I plow through Jacqueline Moriarty's books. I love Carl James Munford's illustrations. He's one of my favorite illustrators at this point, because he does a lot of middle grade books. Just love the friendship and the family dynamics and the sort of plot twists and the magic. Although I do feel like the resolution of the book was a little bit too simple, a little bit too quick, a little bit too easy. I felt like it would have needed, you know, a couple of more pages just to like expand it and make it more difficult and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, wasn't too pleased with the ending, to be honest. And then we have Not Your Idol Volume 2, which is, I mean, I basically had the same feelings for this one as the first volume that I just mentioned. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. We get some new information about the attacker. There's still some sketchy things going on. Not really sure of what I thought about the ending of this volume though. And then I read In an Absent Dream by Shauna Maguire. This is the 4th book in the Wayward Children series. I literally only pick up this series again for this reading challenge, because they're short books, because I really did not like this book. The main character goes into this world where there's a magic tree, and she actually can go back and forth in her world, which is not something that children usually can do. But she's so indecisive, and her best friend Moon, who is in this world that she gets to, she's just a leech. She takes everything she can get, but she doesn't really give that much in return. And I don't know, the main characters kind of annoyed me a little bit, and like the first 20 pages I thought I was gonna fall asleep because I was bored so bad, and it just didn't get that much better. And then I read The Frugal Witch's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson. This was a really quick book. It was beautiful illustrations. I really liked the concept and the friendships and the sort of magic going on, a little bit mythology wise as well, but I kind of wanted a little bit more action. And then I read The Promised Neverland Volume 7, which is a manga I loved so much. This was very interesting. We have a character in this one, a new character that we're introduced to, and he's a little bit unstable to say the least, and that makes it very interesting. And shit is going down, it's action, so many questions, and I just want answers. Then also picked up Food Wars Volume 1, which is, you know, the first I read of this. It was really interesting. I love watching sort of food competitions, food related, you know, TV shows. Can't cook for shit, but I like watching other people cook. Especially when it's in a competitive setting. So I really enjoyed this one. It was a quick read, it was really fun, and I feel like a lot of shit can happen in this series, and I want to know what. And then the very last book I ended up reading was There's Something About Sweetie. This is on my self-destruct list, so finally I could knock another one off of there, because that's needed, because I don't have that much time left, to be honest. I really enjoyed this book. It was such a quick read. Didn't really end up talking a lot about it in this video, to be honest, but this read is long enough, no? But yeah, I really liked Sweetie and Ashish are two main characters. I liked the family dynamics that Ashish has with his mother above everything else, and also with his brother Rishi, who is like cameos. He and Dimple make some cameos from the previous book that I really love too. But Sweetie's mother drives me insane. She is very like fat phobic. I mean, Sweetie is a plus size character. She is very, you know, for the most part very secure in her own body, and she just wants to run track. She mostly very secure, you know, but then her mother Ama is just saying to her constantly, you can't wear this, people will laugh at you. You can't do this, people will talk about you. You can't date Ashish because he's really skinny and you're not, and people will laugh at you guys if you get together. And it was just on and on and on, and I was like, how have you not flipped out on her yet? Because I wanted to the entire book. She was driving me insane, and she just felt horrible. So I did prefer Sweetie's relationship with her dad, even though he was a very sort of quiet, stand in the background kind of character. But when he did get more screen time, he did a really good job with it. So yeah, those were all of the 10 books I read for this reading vlog. Like I said, I'm still one book behind technically, but we'll see how it goes, because there's one part left of this reading vlog. So don't forget to keep your eyes out for part 3 in this challenge. I hope you enjoyed this very long reading vlog, and I hope you guys have a good day or night, and I hope we see each other in the next one. Bye!